everybody. Okay, so I'm still trying to say hello to everybody. I'm doing something a little different. So while we kind of sit there and wait for the countdown, and I can breathe that sigh of relief that everything appears to be going well, I'm going to pose a question to you. It'll give us something to kind of chat about here in the very beginning. And sometimes, I mean, it may or may not relate to one of our topics at hand on coffee time. But so if you didn't see it, because it was the first time, and with all the crazy, chats that go by, the question is, would you ever purchase a home sight unseen if you had all of the information available to you to make that decision? We got a couple of nopes and no ways. And then, of course, Susan said, yes, if I was their realtor. That's a lot on my shoulders, my friend. And that is part of our discussion today, because I have had quite a few clients since I've been doing real estate actually purchase homes. I say sight unseen. It's not really sight unseen. It's that their physical presence was not in the home. Some of this stems from COVID. We'll chat about that a little bit later. But as you're kind of popping in, and by the way, if I missed anybody, I was trying to scramble and do the hellos after I posted the question. And so I may not have gotten to you, but I love you. Also, we got some rumblings of thunder around. So my dogs are kind of freaking out. So Daisy's back behind me. Maggie's over there. And full disclosure, Penny is still on my bed, sleeping, and she's not yet gone outside to go potty. And as you know from the past couple of weeks or whatever week, Penny is the potty problem puppy. Well, she's not a puppy. She's an old lady now. But anyway, so she's not gone out yet this morning. So could be trouble on the horizon, my friends. Anyway, but yeah, a little bit of rumbles out there. My dogs get a little bit freaked out about that. What about your dogs? Do you have any pets that kind of sense if there's just a storm coming or, something in the atmosphere that kind of makes them a little bit unsettled? Anyway, let me see what you guys are saying. So yes, on our, see if anybody else answered in. Shafiq, you do not text me 500 times a week. Shafiq says, I text Amy 500 times a week. No, you don't. No, you don't. I don't get them if you do. You text every once in a while. Kim, no, I wouldn't. I would need to see not only the house, but the whole area as well. Very good. Here we go. Hello from Orlando, Florida. Good morning. Good morning. Melody, I don't think I would. However, if you were my realtor, did FaceTime walkthrough, I would do an offer and contingent upon my ability to come and see it in person. It's good to know. Good to know, Melody. On our way to Epcot from Old Key West Resort. How fun is that, right? Like, seriously, how fun is that? Have fun. Enjoy the beauty of Disney and the magic of Disney, and just fun. I'm excited for you. Pam, our old neighbor in New Hampshire, bought a house without physically seeing it in Mount Dora, and they were very happy. And by the way, good morning, Louise. I didn't see you. Susan says, totally trust you, as you know. In our situation though, Susan, like, full disclosure, you were there, like, for your, for David and Joy. While they may not have physically been in it, you were their surrogate to be there. So, but I mean, it's a daunting thing, to be quite honestly. It is very daunting. Jay, probably not. You can get a feeling about a home when you are in it that you can't get from photos. Plus, what if it smells bad? Well, I will tell you, if I was in the house, I'd be able to tell you if it smells bad, because my nose is amazing. Let's see. Shafiq, what's the price of gas now right there in Florida? Honestly, I don't know. I haven't filled up in a while. Tracy, would depend. If I had an agent I totally trusted, then possibly. Good. And then Fred, it would have to be that I really wanted the location, would be willing to repair if needed, and you are my agent. You guys are just the sweetest. I wasn't fishing. I promise I wasn't fishing. It stems from one of our topics and just some generalities, but you guys are the best. I just love you. I was talking to Alyssa yesterday, talking to Allie, and I was just telling her how much I love you guys. I was like, I just want to do something for them. I always want to give people something. I want to do something for you. I'm like, I don't know. I want to have, like, You know, we can't ever have our cruise that we talk about. That's just not going to work because not everyone can afford it. Not everyone's going to be available. So we'll never be able to do a coffee time cruise. That's okay. And then I was like, well, maybe we could do like a coffee time, like a Zoom dinner one night or something. I'm like, I just want to give them something. I want to do something. So just know that even though you may not get a great gift from me, in my heart, I'm giving you one. I just adore you guys. Yep, we did get rained on yesterday at Epic Universe. Oh, that's a bummer. Susan says, my pets are not affected by the storms, thankfully. That is really good. And good morning, Grateful Drifter. Wishing everyone a great week from Rio. Get out. Are you seriously? I would like a picture, please. 407-848-8042. I would like a picture from Rio. You know what? Here's the thing, and I've got some clients. I'll tell you about them in a minute. Just want to make sure I got all the comments. Allie agreed. Oh, there goes the dogs. Agreed. Probably not unless I had an agent I really trusted to tell it to me straight and have a keen eye on my behalf, like Amy. Well, you are biased there, my sweet love. But yeah, that cough, guys. Do you hear that little chunk that's behind it? I don't know what it is. And it's worrisome. Anyway, the feel of the house has to say welcome home. Oh, Shafiq, LOL, I was joking. Okay, good, because I was really stressing. I was like, Shafiq, you don't text me 500 times. Season 5. Ooh, excellent. Yeah, Shafiq has been watching one of the shows. Allie, I'd also be more likely to buy sight unseen if I was already planning to do a lot of renovations. Okay, that you know what? That's a really good way to think about it too. If you're looking for a flip or a fixer upper or something like that, then really the condition of the home may or may not be as important to you. Susan, at the same time, Joy and David only trusted the two of us together. Well, you know what? Fair point. I'll take that, Susan. Yeah, so Susan and I were out touring homes on behalf of her niece and husband, and so we found a property for them, which was great but you know, not everyone is always able. Anyway, well, good morning. I am so excited. Oh, Pam. Okay, Pam. Off topic, but I love the shelf and the alligator behind you. Okay, first of all, I have to tell you about. Well, actually, let me see Daryl's comment real fast. You got sight unseen house near you. Done. Let's do it. Oh. Daryl, dude, don't even play with my emotions right now. You know what I texted you and Jen the other night. You know. So do not even play, my friend, because there are houses right here. Don't do it. I will get you here. Okay. Anyway, all right, let's keep going. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Yeah, love my photo with Eric in the background. Yeah, so really what I did, going back to Pam's comment, about the shelf and the alligator. Okay, so here's the story about that. Boy, we haven't even gotten started yet, and I'm still yakking. Good morning, hello. So this right here, remember how I told you my office, I'm not happy with it. I'm not done with it. I'm kind of at a standstill. I've even reached out, so Allie, really smart. Allie has this beautiful backyard. And she was trying to figure out, conceptually, some landscaping to do. How could she maximize what she has in her backyard for this specific area, this specific focal point? So she asked, was it ChatGPT, Allie? She asked, basically AI to kind of, pre-design her space. By the way, flipping amazing. It was amazing, complete with, where do you live? What zone? What's the temperature like? These flowers will do best. These are perennials. These could be annuals. Here could be a path. Amazing. So I was like, I'm kind of exhausted about thinking about my office because, well, the truth is I'm not exhausted about it. I don't have time to think about it. And I'm exhausted about caring about it. That's probably a better way to say it. I'm exhausted about caring about it. So I was like, oh, maybe I should do that with my office. Unfortunately, I was not able to get it to talk to me. It didn't like my question. So I didn't get any virtual assistance with it. But anyway, so this piece of furniture was up on the landing of the stairs that we had in our, I always call it our dream home, right? Our home, the home that we built, that we loved. And I've had this, and it's been sitting on the opposite side of my desk. And I was like, I need more places to put things. Because if you remember, the white piece that matches this is in my garage because it's too big. It doesn't fit in this space. Hey, Daisy Jane, please don't unplug anything, love. Okay, please, you can sit. Be a good girl. So anyway, so I was like, let me just see if that works to give me a little bit more of a surface. So that little picture, these are those mixed tiles. And I haven't actually put it on the wall. This is what a mixed tile looks like on the back. See, I've never even pulled this. I bought these years ago, and it was one of those like pre-Christmas, I think, specials where you could get X number. So I did a bunch of them specifically for my kids. I think Allie and Elizabeth had just kind of uh-oh, there's Penny. She has not gone OUT, my friends. Okay, lay down, Pen. It's okay. They did not go out. They did not go out. There we go. There's my brain. We got them some pictures done from their wedding photos that I thought they might like, just to kind of be able to put up, maybe they could put it up in their office at work or something like that. Not big ones, but I ordered a couple for us too. And so I just kind of had that propped around here and there. It's been sitting right in front of me, but when I moved this, I cleared off my desk. And yeah, I thought you might like to see Eric, because you know what, let's be honest. I understand that a big portion of why you, maybe not why you originally started watching, but or maybe it was, I don't know. But was Eric and his goofiness and our relationship and our banter, and whether it was the Sunday drives or whether it was the breaking news on coffee time, which by the way, I do have this. I just still have it. It's right here. Here, I'll put it right there. Oh, it's gonna fall down, so I won't do that. Anyway, but that is why the picture's there. But Pam, look at this. These are bookends. Okay. And I kid you not, I love these. Now let me tell you a story about it. So these bookends, not these literal ones, but some that were just exactly like it, were in a model home by Kay Hovnanian at the Highlands at Summer Lake Groves. Can't remember the floor plan that it was in, but probably the Tompkins. Anyway, you see me in the video, and guys, this is a long time ago. This is many a moon ago. I commented on those alligator bookends. I absolutely love them. I thought they were so cool, specifically for Florida. That's as close to an alligator as I ever want to get. Anyway, so I did the video tour, and then I ended up having some lovely clients. It was a family from Mississippi, came in and they purchased 2 homes. They wanted to build side by side, grandparents and kids with the grandkids. They wanted to buy 2 homes and build side by side. So they did. So just kind of as not even a thank you gift, but just, I have these great relationships with these builders and these site agents, and it's just been established over time. And I had made a comment about those bookends, and his name is Ken Jeanette. He worked for Kay Hovnanian. He was our sales associate with not just that purchase. We had lots of homes, lots of contracts together, but specifically for this lovely family that purchased 2 homes. And I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know why or how the gift came in. I just know I was completely shocked one day. I came in and he's like, "Oh, I got something for you." And it's bookends. So I love them. And I will say I've had them. They haven't been visible to you. In Florida, like the previous house, Eric and I's house, they were there. They were probably visible on all the coffee times. But anyway, so I'll move on. But yeah, so there's my coffee time. Alligator bookends, picture of Eric, and also, and I have water today because I really do. I don't know what the cough is. It doesn't. Do you hear that part? Oh my gosh, I don't know what it is. It doesn't hurt. I don't feel bad at all. Well, I mean, I'm old, but did I tell you what happened last week? I put together a bookshelf and then I couldn't move. Like, I was so stinking sore after I put together a bookshelf. My wrists hurt from the screwdriver. My butt hurt from sitting on the floor. I was a hot mess. And I'm like, really? All I did was put together a bookshelf. Anyway, let's move on, my friends. All right, let's see. Let's see. The bookends are breaking news from the other side of the. Oh, Fred. Yes, I know. Susan says the bookends are a delight. And then Pam says that's fabulous. Amy, love it. Perfect for Florida. Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, the Mickey Mouse blanket is behind me. Yeah, that stays on my chair, and I have that. It's actually, it's kind of a little entryway and like a garage entryway, kind of like the launch zone, drop zone area. And that's where that Mickey Mouse like weighted pillow, where it's just kind of a decor pillow, that's sitting over there. I just don't have enough room in here to store stuff. But plus, remember, it's not like, my office is actually a place of function. Actually, a place of function. Like, I need it to work. I've got clients. Like, I don't just do coffee time and then nothing else the rest of the week. This has to be a good workspace. And candidly, it's not. I still need some help. So, so feel free. Send me some ideas. Send me some options. Here's the thing. You can decorate Amy's office. Boom. There we go. Let's plan it. You guys work on it. Who wants to head that up? Jane, Susan, somebody. Okay. And then, Angela, you remember that video, do you? So, like, seriously, that, like, true story. If you go back, watch that video, and I think it was the Tompkins, not 100% sure, but it was definitely Kay Hovnanian, and it was definitely the Highlands at Summer Lake Groves. It was definitely a long time ago. And that, that was one of my favorite things, is when clients would come in and they go, they would say, oh, I remember the video. And like, you touched this wall and you were like, oh, it's wallpaper. It's not real brick, but wow, it looks like real brick. Those things were like surreal to me, that I do this video and I mentioned something. And then I was like, you actually watched it and you remembered it. That's amazing. Anyway, Kim says, if I take the trim off of both sides, the original piece, would it work? Well, there's no trim on these sides. So because it goes together, it's flat. There is no trim. There's like a little baseboard trim at the bottom, but there's nothing on the sides because it's meant to be flush. So there's nothing I can do. I wish I could. And because I love that. I love that set. I have two of them. I have the white one here, and then I have a gray one that's in my bedroom. Anyway, okay. So let's see. Jane says, I definitely think that dark blue that you were talking about to go on the wall behind you would be amazing. I hope so. I still want to do some paint or something in here. So yeah, I think we should, we should definitely, maybe we'll make that our project. You guys can help me design this office. All right, let's go on with our brewing topic, shall we? Have so much to talk about. Okay, and by the way, Kim, you said, I mean the trim on the walls. Yes, I could do that. That's just more of a commitment than I think I want to make, and I don't know that those couple of inches are going to make a difference because it's a lot of distance that I would have to try to compensate for, but definitely a good thought. All right, so here are our brewing topics today. Foot traffic in the digital age, when the price is right and the market is warming up. Okay, so if you remember, as we started today, we prompted that question about, do you think you could purchase a home in the world that we live in the digital age without actually physically being in the home? So here's the thing, like, I have had many clients, and a lot of this happened, during COVID, when people still wanted or needed to purchase a home, but they were physically unable to travel or to see it in person. So I would go to the house. Like, I could go see the home. I would take the safety precautions. I could go in the home. I could show them the home video, FaceTime them, little mini video snippets, whatever the case was. I could do that for them. And then, of course, a lot of people know the area. So sometimes, yes, to your point, if you're like, I'm moving to a place and I have no idea where I am moving to, what I'm looking at, what is the proximity, is it safe, is it not safe, is there shopping nearby, is it too rural, is it too busy, is it too commercial? Like, there's so many things. But if you know the area that you're going to potentially move into, so let's just use Horizon West as an example. If you're like, yes, I go to Disney all the time, I know where Horizon West is because we've driven through it. We've driven around it. We know exactly where it is. So while we may not know exactly where that house is in that community, we know enough of the area on a broader scale that would give us comfort to purchase. And we know enough, or if we can get enough on a smaller scale from our agent to kind of help satisfy that. I mean, the number of times, we've done videos, or I've done videos, like, here I am, I'm driving into the community, this is what the entrance of the community looks like. You come in, you take a right, and then you can see over here, there's a playground, or over here's the amenity center. Okay, now we're going down here and we're looping around, and you get the picture, right? So being able to kind of explain where in the community it is. And by the way, as a reminder, the Sunday drives, started because I was doing those privately for clients, specifically a client that I had that lived in Norway at the time, and he was moving to Horizon West. And he didn't like, you talk about not seeing it in person. He knew the area well, so the where was not a problem. But choosing the home site, choosing the builder, choosing the floor plan, choosing the structurals, everything was done virtually. And that was when I told Eric at the time, I said, I can't in good conscience put, he's building this beautiful home, and I have no reservations about the home or the builder or the location or anything, but I'm not the one buying it. My opinion, it may matter as confirmation for you, but that's the only way it should matter, right? Is confirmation good or bad, right? But I can't steer you to or from. So I want to make sure that he felt comfortable. So we did a 30-minute-ish drive. I was like, here's where your house would be. Here's where the nearest, excuse me. Well, here's where the nearest urgent care is. Here's where the nearest grocery store is. Here's where the nearest Target or Walmart. Here's the nearest hospital, like gas station, things like that, drugstores, CVS, Walgreens, because I felt like I owed that to him and his wife. And they had, I think, a newborn. They had a toddler and one on the way at the time. And I just felt like I had to do something to give them, and specifically his wife, because I hadn't really been talking to her, peace of mind of what was around. So that's how my Sunday drive started. Now, yes, I know other people do them now, but I'm just going to tell you, they copycats, because I did it. And when we did it, it was legitimately, we didn't have time to do private videos for everybody anymore. And I was like, but I want to be able to provide that service. So why don't we do them just of the area in general and help supplement the videos so that you can get that idea. I may not be driving exactly to your house, but if you're building a home in Waterloo, I got lots of videos of us driving through Waterloo. So you get a really good feel for the way the community looks and feels, and whether or not that resonates with you. Anyway, okay, so, but yeah, so during COVID, there was a lot of people that were purchasing sight unseen. So here's the thing. There's a lot of pros and cons with everything. We can have everything at our fingertips pretty quickly, right? And the truth, I got my little notes here. And the truth is, having grown up a generation where you had to go to the library to get information for your research paper. No, ma'am. Okay, you know what? Well, I can't shut the door because that means I have to get up. Anyway, so I'm from a generation where you had to go out and you had to find that information. You had to go to the library. You had to check out the books, or you had to sit there and you had to do the research, and you were responsible for procuring the information, the answers that you needed. And now everything, too much, is available at a moment's notice. If I say the word, boy, I sure would like a cough syrup, I am going to take a picture on my phone or on my computer for the next ad I get that has to do with cough syrup, because that's the world that we're now living in. And so all of this information can be so readily available, and some of it can be very helpful, by the way. It's not all bad. But when you are looking to purchase a home, sometimes you have too much information at your fingertips. And sometimes, it can help. It can help in a lot of ways, but it's got some negatives. So let's just say for instance, let's go to our Brewing One topic. So the access to the information is essentially what I'm saying, right? You can go online to any of these third-party websites. You can just go online. You can search public records. You can find the information that you want to know about the house or the community or the street that you're on or the taxes, or any of that information is essentially available to you. And again, sometimes it's just too much information, because it starts to muddy the water and it starts to give you information that may not be relevant, but now you're fixated on it. So the pros are that the buyers, you can research. You can research the neighborhoods, the school ratings, the taxes, and nearby amenities instantly. You've got that right there readily available at your fingertips. The con, however, is just what I said. It's the overload of information, and it can be overwhelming, sometimes even contradictory, and that leaves you as the buyer uncertain. So now your brain is all in a tizzy because you've got way too much information overload, and now you're doubting everything. And that makes it very, very difficult to kind of see through all of that. The other piece of it is the virtual showings, 3D showings, and realtor tours, right? So the number of times we actually have now, funny enough, true story, in our MLS settings for showings, if I were to request a showing for a client of mine who is looking to purchase a home, or if I have a listing and another agent is requesting to show the property, there's actually a space now to determine whether or not it is a virtual showing. Now, you may ask yourself, why does that matter? Well, it does matter because there's sellers while you may not want to purchase a home without physically being in it, a seller may not want to sell a home without the buyer physically being in it. And we've seen this because during COVID, when this was happening, people were buying houses, or then they would use the inspection period to come physically in town, look at it, and then make their mind up. And, that's also not fair because you're legally under contract. The safety period is supposed to be for inspection purposes, home inspection, not like you're inspecting it yourself because you're looking at it for the first time in person. And people were doing that. So now the number of times, and this is how I get all those investor, because by the way, every time you have a listing, it is really hard, even for us as realtors, to decipher who is legitimately submitting an offer. So now when I get those crazy notices from an agent, or a text message or an email with no offer attached, there's no actual paperwork attached, it's just a text. Hey, what about this amount for this house? Then my next question is, have you physically been in the home? Because that usually shuts them down right away. If it's an investor person, I mean, again, unless it's like a flip, and I don't really have any of those. My market doesn't really have a lot of that. That's not kind of my little genre, not genre, but that's not like a little my area of expertise. But at any rate, that's one of the things. So the virtual showings are a real thing. I have, for my own clients, and I have had done for my listings, showings that were done virtually with the buyer. Now, here's the thing. That can be an amazing, wonderful, wonderful help, because not everybody can afford to travel to get here to go see the houses. Not everyone physically can. I've had clients who are 8 months pregnant, and they're like, I can't travel, but we have to have a house. I'm having this baby. The baby's coming, and I need to know where I'm going to be living, but I'm not able to physically travel there to see it myself. So it can be a little bit of a conundrum, but virtual showings and 3D tours, here's some pros. That means you can view multiple homes pretty quickly, which is going to help you kind of narrow down, and that you can do that from anywhere. You can do that from your home. You can do that from your bed if you're home and you're not feeling well, or if you're out of state or out of the country. It also can help you narrow down the choices without all of the exhausting travel. So again, it gives you the ability to kind of see a lot, but then hone in so that you can physically be in person to see the ones that matter the most to you. It also can increase the safety and convenience, especially for the out-of-town buyers, right? Absolutely. And now here's a con. The cons are the virtual tours may not really capture much of what we were saying. It's not going to capture every essence of the home. Specifically, how does it smell? How is the lighting in there? Like, you can see it in the video, but that may or may not be a true representation of it. It also may not give you a true vibe of what the neighborhood looks like. Driving into your neighborhood and driving up to your home, it's a real thing. And so sometimes you're not going to be able to get that feel. And I will say a lot of times that is going to make a person looking to buy a home, feel a little less confident about their decision. So they're already entering into this real estate contract feeling a little bit, like I'm not really sure. All right. So the next one is the third-party real estate websites. Again, this is going to provide you all sorts of information that you need. There's the listing photos. By the way, remember, as a reminder, the third-party websites, Realtor, Homes.com, Zillow, any of them, they are taking the information that we, as the actual licensed realtor that is listing a home on behalf of our client, we enter that information into the MLS, the multiple listing service, the MLS. That is what we use for all of the real estate transactions, the homes that are available for sale or for lease or for rent or whatever the case is. Those third-party sites They sweep that information. They don't just get it on their own. I don't put a listing in the MLS and then go, oh, you want it on Zillow too? Okay. And I don't go over to Zillow and enter it in on Zillow. It pulls that information, it feeds it. Now, here's the thing. That information sometimes is incorrect. For instance, one of those websites doesn't count half baths. So if I have a home that is 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, that website's going to say it's a, what did I just say? If it's a 3, 2.5, their website is going to say it's a 3, 3. And then somebody's going to go see the home based on that website, and it's not a 3, 3, it's a 3, 2.5. And then they're going to go, well, I thought it was a third full bath. I'm like, that's not me. MLS is correct. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 1 half bath. That's correct. But the website that you're looking at doesn't, it rounds up. So if it's a half, they consider it a whole. That's not true. Also, that information is not necessarily in real time. And this is most often happens at a detriment to a client who's looking to purchase, because they will literally send me listings that they saw online that were given to them because they set themselves up on a property search through these websites, which is fine. But you just have to know that, in my opinion, do that in the beginning. And then when you are ready to do something, get your agent to actually give it to that list, that property search through the MLS. Because I will get a listing from a client saying, what about this home? And then I look at it in the MLS and it's pending. I'll go right to that third-party website, and that third-party website says it's still active, but it's not. It's pending. And so it's not always real time. So that can lead to frustration and disappointment from those third-party websites. And also that can affect your trust, because you're like, well, I don't even know what to believe. It says it was a 3, 3. You're saying it's a 3, 2.5. This says it's active. You're saying it's pending. Right? You get it? So it can be frustrating. And then the pricing estimates, that's the other thing too, is that you'll look in Zillow's, like the Zestimate. Those aren't always accurate. In fact, most often they're not accurate at all. They're going to give you a range. And, while it can do algorithms and certain data, I've said it before, Eric and I always said that there's an art and a science to home valuations. And while they might get some of the science pieces, they may not have any idea about the art of it, because they may not know that behind that community, this big road's coming, or behind that community is a tree farm, and that tree farm is no longer going to be a tree farm because now it's going to be a new community, and how that can affect the value of that property. So anyway, and then the last thing is, the fourth one is reduces face-to-face interaction. So that's kind of good in some ways, right? Because a lot of your questions can be answered quickly, digitally, via chat. It doesn't mean I like to see your face, but you can still get a lot done. You can get your questions answered. But some of the cons are that you might miss the personal touch, right? Miss the personal touch and the reassurance that your agent can provide you when you are able to potentially see a home in person. And that, without that face-to-face interaction, sometimes the anxiety can increase, right? Buyers get a little bit more nervous because they're like, I just feel so disconnected, and I'm not there for the contract. I'm not there for the inspection. I'm not there for this. I'm not there for that. And, for what, in my opinion, is such a personal and emotional transaction, is a little less personal, and it can lead to a little less security in the decision that you've made, as I have found. However, the speed may reduce the emotional attachment too, right? That's what we were saying. If you go faster, you may go, I don't really feel connected because I didn't get to physically walk into this home and go, oh, this is it. This is my house. Oh my gosh, honey, do you see that? Like, you don't get that moment sometimes. All right, and then the last one is the speed versus the emotional connection. And that's kind of what we were talking. You can tour them and you can research them even faster than ever before, all from sitting in your home. On your lunch hour, you can view sorry, Penny, she got to go outside. You can see, dozens of properties. You can see them quickly on your lunch break and narrow down, 20, 30, 40 properties and go, oh, you know what? Here's 5 that I really, really, really like. Wow, that was amazing. Could you have done that in real life? No. So the speed is good. But it also may reduce that emotional attachment like we were talking about. It then also doesn't give you that moment of, this is it, or no way, this is not happening. So anyway, so there are a few tips on that. And, I have never purchased a home sight unseen either. Well, first of all, like full disclosure, we've never purchased a resale home. It's always been new construction for for us, in our life. When Eric and I first got married, we just had a little apartment. And then we purchased our little townhouse, and the townhouse was new construction. And it was one of those where we got to go and pick the design options, but it was done a little bit differently. You were given a budget, like you were given a lighting budget. So you would go to their place and you would pick the lighting that fit within the budget. And I don't even really recall if you could go over your budget, because that was a different time and it was just a townhouse. But I did get to pick. The next house was our house in Virginia, the one that I still to this day, I feel like it was our home, but I won't ever go back there. And that was the one that was in Yorktown, where we raised our kids, and we were there for 17, 18 years. That's the one where all the kids' height measurements were taken and all the kids lived there, and where they were really young and growing up. Big backyard, loved it. But we built that house as well. Like, we built it. We were able to go, again, pick and choose, but it was not really. It wasn't the same thing. It was like there was a budget that was involved. The builder provided a budget. Here's your lighting allowance. Pick what you want, but this is your lighting allowance. And so we did that. And again, I wasn't in real estate at the time. In fact, my dear friend Darla was, and so she was our buyer's agent on that one. And then of course the Florida homes, everything's been new construction since then. So I haven't had the experience personally of buying resale, but I've obviously sold a lot of resale for clients of mine. And it is very different. It is a different feel, definitely a different feel for sure. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying over here. La 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 la. Oh my God, you guys. Oh, I've missed everything. You're having so much fun over here without me. You're having a party. You're having a party without me. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Let me go back. La 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 la. Okay, so Jane said the blue on the wall would be good. Okay. Angela talked about the video being a long time ago. Kim and the trim. Okay. Dave Howell, my wife and I purchased a new build in Ocala. We visited twice. Construction manager was fantastic and got pictures and phone calls once a week. It was a great experience. Yes, I will say that is really good. If you have a builder that actually sends the pictures, it's amazing. Because a lot of times the builders say they will and then they don't, which I would rather them just don't imply that you will, because that leads to an unexpected expectation there. Angela loved the Sunday drives. I know. I do too. I'm not going to. Jay, often imitated, never duplicated. Yeah. Thank you. That makes me feel good. That's those of us, our little family, those of us who know the origin of all of that. When we were thriving during the coffee times and the Sunday drives, never going to change. Do you remember was it the Sweet 16? We did the Disney character tournament. That was Eric put so much time into that. You have no idea. Like, you have no idea how much time Eric put into that. And boy, did he love it. Tracy, your Sunday drives were so helpful and honestly continue to be. They are, they're still there. They're evergreen. I mean, now, there may be a new building on the corner or something that it wasn't there in that initial Sunday drive, but it really did give you a phenomenal landscape of the area in general. Pam, I've seen a copycat couple do the Sunday drives, and when I've seen it, I've said to myself, it's just not Amy and Eric. Yeah, I know. Well, here's the thing, and I think I know the couple. What I get really frustrated about personally is that, like, I don't know how to say it. Everything I do has been authentic. It wasn't strategic. It wasn't like, oh, you know what? Let's do this. It was like I said, I did the tours already for clients of mine, and then we decided to do it. And truthfully, the first ones was just me. Eric would hold the camera, and it was just me. He wasn't talking. And then it was just then we just decided to make it more of a production, right? Because that's Eric. He wants his gadgets and the cameras to make it more informative and more entertaining, of course. I'll never forget when he turned around to adjust the camera in the back seat and his butt was facing the camera, and I'm like, honey, and he's like, I'm giving the people what they want. He just cracked me up all the time. But darn it, I'm sorry. Okay, see, do you remember when I talked to you about the gentle art of Swedish death cleaning, and that we cry and we say I'm sorry? Why did I do that? I'm not sorry. I loved him. Anyway, but yes, he would crack me up. And then Elizabeth, I love how you popped in a minute ago, and she's like, go back and watch the Chicken Wars. Chicken Wars. You remember that? That was funny. Okay, I've got the dogs all riled up. Anyway, okay. So lots of stuff going on. Gatorwater and the Bumpity Bump Road. I know there's so much stuff. I just absolutely love it. Anyway, all right. So I can't do this. I gotta keep going. All right. So our second topic. What is our second topic? I don't even remember. When the price is right. Okay. Okay. When the price is right. It is important to note a couple of things. Well, first of all, I think it is important for sellers I think it's important for sellers to trust their agent. I know that there are a lot of people out there that are looking for a realtor to list their home. They may go by a friend or a family recommendation. They may go by someone who has a home for sale in the community and they see their sign. They're like, well, if they're selling in the community, they must know the community. They may eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I don't know how they find their agents. But I do know that sometimes especially in the beginning, I would have people who knew of me but didn't know me, and they would interview several realtors. And by the way, that's fine. You can do that. You don't have to be sold on one person. But what's interesting is you will find, if you want to list your home for a specific amount, you will find a realtor that is willing to list it at that price, whether there is any data to support it or not. And that is the most frustrating thing when you are a person who actually looks at the data. It is so in depth. The system that Eric and I created, the home pulse that we do, it is not a one-click button, spit out a number. It's not, oh, let's go to Zillow and see what Zillow says. It's actually work. It's actually understanding what the numbers mean and putting them together and then verifying and bouncing it off. Eric and I would bounce numbers all the time. Like he would come up with a number, then I'd come up with a number. I'm like, well, how did you get your number? Like what did you emphasize? And then what did I emphasize? And why did we do that? And what about this comp? And I would have used this comp instead of that comp. Like it's like actual conversation. And so when I give a client a number, I'm not picking it off the top of my head. I've already done all of the research. That's my job. Whether you've hired me already to be your listing agent or not, I've done that work. And what can be really frustrating is when, the seller doesn't necessarily understand that. And when I say doesn't appreciate that, I don't mean it in the way you might think. I mean that they don't understand the level to which I went to come up with that number and how validated that number actually is. And so then they decide they want to list it high. So back to the subject at hand, it is really about the pricing it right to begin with. The first 2 weeks, guys, are critical. When your home goes on the market, those first 2 weeks is when it is going to hit the masses. That is when the most amount of people are going to be seeing your home and your listing for the first time. So if you're putting it out there and you're insanely overpriced within those first 2 weeks, you've lost a lot of potential buyers who would have purchased it had you priced it right to begin with. And that is an absolutely true statistic. The first 2 weeks are the most important times in your listing to make sure that it's done correctly, that it's priced correctly, and that you haven't overpriced it to the point where you're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss that opportunity. Let me find this thing. Okay, so the second part is overpriced and you're helping the competition. Here's what's happening, guys. If you overprice your home and the other homes that are comparable, I'm trying to get in the screen here. And the other homes in your neighborhood are comparable and they're insanely overpriced, and you feel like, well, look, that one's priced here, so I should list there because, we want to do that. Here's the thing. You're helping them because people's budgets do not increase because the homes are higher. They're going to stay with what their budget is. So the only time that is if it's like maybe a first-time home buyer and they're like, hey, we want to spend, not we can spend or we've been approved for, but we want to spend $300,000. That's our budget. That's a fine budget. As I say, it's a lot of $1 bills laying on your mattress to roll around in. So no one is going to poop on the fact that it's $300,000. That's a lot of freaking money. But it may not be enough in the area that you're looking for in the market that we are currently in to get you what it is that you want, where you want it at the time that you want it. But so then maybe the conversation is, well, what does 350 look like? What's 325 look like? Are you approved for that? How does that feel? Is there comfort in your budget if you were to go to that price point, because maybe you could find these properties? But in the grand scheme of things, people's budgets aren't going to change. All they're going to end up doing is looking for homes that match what they're willing to spend. So pricing your home higher when you know that it should be priced where your realtor tells you, and then you price it higher because others in the neighborhood or other comps around you are higher, that's not helping you at all. It's just not. Then the price reductions raise questions. Now, full disclosure, I've had lots of price reductions. Sometimes you have to, because sometimes, my friends, I'm not perfect. Nobody has the magic answer. Even if I know for a fact I have priced the home correctly, there are comps to support it, everybody agrees it's a good price, doesn't mean it's going to get sold at that price. It just doesn't. We can't, the piece that we cannot control is who's that buyer is that is out there and what they're willing to spend, and are they looking for your home at the time that your home is available? And does it meet all of their, their needs that check off all of their boxes? So sometimes you do have to do a price reduction, and that's okay, except that when you've priced it way too high to begin with, and then you go lower and lower, meanwhile days and weeks are ticking by, and then you go lower, more days, more weeks are ticking by, sometimes even months are ticking by, that can lead to questions that the buyer has. And I get these questions. I get them on my own listings for homes that have been on the market for a while. Again, things I can't control, even if I know it's priced even undervalued sometimes. For whatever reason, there's reason that somebody doesn't want that particular property. But they are like, why has it been on the market so long? Is there anything going on with the house? Like, they want to know what's wrong. So what have you put in the buyer's mind with all of these price reductions? Doubt and questions. So now they're wondering why. What's wrong with it that it didn't sell? I'm looking, other people are looking at it. If you're getting all these showings, why hasn't somebody purchased it yet? What's wrong with it? Well, it starts to lead to doubts. And now they're going to start to negotiate, and they're going to want to come in even lower, because that's just what we do. Listen to what the market says. And this is really important. If you have your home in those first 2 weeks, and if you are not getting any showings, that's telling you something. It's telling you that you've probably priced it too high, or just that there's not buyers out there in the market looking for what you were offering at that time. And if you are getting good foot traffic, that's great. And I've had clients, I have them now, where the home was priced a little bit higher because of that expectation situation, where I felt it should be somewhere, the seller felt it should be somewhere else. And by the way, guys, that's okay. You're allowed to feel the way you feel. It's just, you have to understand that this is a transaction of hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars. And sometimes you need to give the person that you trusted to begin with a little bit more credit, and not be swayed by other things that may not warrant that same level of commitment. I don't know if that's the right word, but at any rate, if you are priced at a certain price and you're getting foot traffic, that's a good sign. That means people aren't scared of it. They're looking at that property, they're looking at that price, and they're going, okay, I can see that. And then they want to come out and see it. But then sometimes you get the questions of, again, well, why is it still on the market? Why has it been here so long? And then, of course, when you overprice, you lose the buyers. But if you price with market value, if you price because you've listened to the market, you've listened to your agent, you're paying attention to the comps, you understand, or at least you trust the person who understands, maybe, your realtor, your agent, your listing agent. If you price appropriately, let's say you've got the home and your neighbor 5 streets down or 5 blocks down or whatever has the exact same floor plan, you're priced appropriately, they're in la la land. Well, first of all, of course they're going to come see your home, because even if they like the la la land house, they're going to go, why would I get that house when this one is priced substantially less and this one is more in line, whereas this one's probably going to have appraisal issues. And if you've priced it correctly, you're going to get probably more foot traffic. And if you get more foot traffic, because remember, that's how you get people to see your home, is to get people to actually look at it and potentially get in it, unless they're doing those virtual showings in this digital world. And you could potentially drive up the price of your own home. You can actually potentially get multiple offers. And we saw this a lot when it was the feeding frenzy, I call it, back in the day, where there were very few homes on the market and the buyers were coming out of the woodwork trying to find houses, and they were willing to pay above appraisal. They were willing to pay and waive inspections or waive inspection contingencies. Again, not necessarily advising that, but there are scenarios in which when you price your home well, or even maybe slightly undervalue, that you're going to get multiple offers and somebody coming in saying, well, I want it, and somebody else saying, I want it too. And then you start to get the escalation addendum or in there. And then all of a sudden you listed it for $650 and now it ended up selling for, $662. Okay, well, good job on you. But if you'd have priced it at $699, we'd still be sitting here, right? Anyway, all right, so let's see what else you guys are talking about. Anything else happening over here? Oh, Trace, did Elizabeth go somewhere? Oh, Elizabeth says, have to run out for groceries while Elsie is happy and the weather is decent. Uh-oh. Yeah, well, I'll tell you, decent is yeah. Okay, anyway, all right, let's move ourselves on. Let's go to our third topic. Sorry, the wrong button. Let's go to our third topic, which is the market's warming up. And so, yes, this is true. The market is warming up. The weather is warming up for most of us. Springtime is a great time. And here's why the market just cyclically in a cycle, why in springtime, this time of year, we start to get more buyers out there. And it's because, as we talked about last week, when you have the daylight savings time or the springing forward, you have more daylight. So there's better weather, there's longer days, so you've got more time after dinner. You've got the ability to go, okay, well, I get off at work at 5, honey, but why don't I just meet you at that house with our agent? We can go see that at like 5:15, 5:30. Whereas before, you could go, well, I'll see it at 5:15, 5:30. Then we can go hit that other one at 5:45, and we can probably get a third one in. You've got more time to get something accomplished. Whereas when it was getting darker earlier, it was just kind of like, you're not going to go tour the homes in the dark, right? You want to see it in the daylight. School calendars. Another reason people are out is because, as the kids, we've got spring break, right? So there's a lot of people that are out during spring break. Not only are they maybe vacationing, but maybe they're taking that period of time when the kids are out of school to go house hunting, to go out and take the kids with them so that the kids can be a part of that process. You also just the calendars in general with the kids in school, because you've got these holidays that are popping up, these few long weekends and things like that. And with summertime, of course, when they're out for the summer, that gives you more opportunity to be able to go out and house hunt and not worry about taking kids out of school or making arrangements. The market mindset in the springtime, it means, springtime is like a fresh start. So there's a mental aspect to it where people are like, oh, it's new flowers are blooming. By the way, daffodils are out there blooming. Like, flowers are blooming. Trees are starting to get blooms again. We just did the spring cleaning that we watched on Amy's Coffee Time a few weeks ago. We're reorganizing, we're thinning out, we're purging, we're refreshing, we're renewed, we're energized, we're going to get a fresh start, and this is a good time. They're motivated mentally. They're in a good mental and emotional state to go out there and start looking again. It's just a mind thing. Inventory increases, whether it's just the regular person like me and you listing our home on the market for resale, or if it's new construction where the builders are building more quick move-ins or inventory homes so that they have them available at the ready, because not everybody wants to wait 6, 8, 10, 12 months or more to build a home. Some people still want new construction, but they don't want to have to wait. So the builder is going to accommodate them. They're going to go, well, here we go. Well, we've got 10 quick move-ins available for you right now. So inventory increases across the board. It's also a more convenient season to move. I mean, let's face it. Does anyone really want to move when they're buried in like 2 feet of snow? Is that the best way for you to lug furniture in and out of your house and to pack it up and put it into a pod or a moving van? That would be miserable. So it's definitely a more convenient time weather-wise to be able to kind of do those things, pull all the stuff out in the driveway, sort it out, box it up, move it, configure it, things that you can't necessarily do in the bitter, bitter, bitter cold months in the wintertime. There's also, tax and financial timing. I have a client right now who wants to submit an offer on a house, specifically timing for tax purposes and financial purposes. So sometimes people are out there and they're doing that, and it's a good time for that, because for whatever their situation is, that's a good time for them. And of course, one of my favorites is, especially like in places like Florida, even in Virginia, where the weather is glorious, is that you have the ability then to really showcase and accentuate your outdoor space, your front porch, your back lanai, your pool area, your garden, anything that is outdoor space related. If you've got a deck or a screened in porch, or if you've got a little gazebo out back, or if you have a little hot tub out there, or the big old pool with the waterfall, or if you just have a really gorgeous wraparound front porch, maybe there's an upstairs balcony. It's just a really great time to be able to showcase those pieces of your home that really make a difference when it comes to the curb appeal. Even though that's, outdoor space, it's not driving up to it. It's still, what does it look like? You can see yourself going, I could enjoy this. I can get my book, my sunglasses, and my glass of lemonade, and I go sit out here on my back lanai on a chaise lounge, listening to the waterfall, and read a book, and just kind of enjoy. And you're able to really visualize that. And that makes a difference to the buyer as well when it comes to the emotional and mental aspect of being able to purchase a home. So anyway, all right, my friends, let's keep ourselves going. So last week, I know you're so sad, I forgot the babies last week. Here you go. Aren't they adorable? Last week, I think I just forgot. I, as always, I get a little rushed toward the end of our coffee time. But there's a picture of Elsie doing her blocks, having fun making her towers. And there's Easton. I think that was on maybe a walk outside to the mailbox or something, with his cute little outfit on. And they're just so stinking cute. I have a video. I didn't put it on here, but it relates to my cup being full. So let's go there. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? So, me, I was watching Easton the other day, just playing with him. Allie and Hung were with some friends, so I got to babysit for a little bit, so I was excited. And I was with Easton, and they have a little book of this is Easton's family, so it shows, parents and grandparents and Mimi and Poppy. And he says a lot of things, but he's yet to say Mimi. Elsie's been saying Mimi for a while, especially when she was saying Mimi's sad. Yeah, so she's got Mimi down pat. She knows who I am. She recognizes me. She'll see me if they're watching Coffee Time, knows me in person. So she's been saying Mimi for a while. But Easton just was like, I just don't need to say Mimi. I know who you are. I know who you are. So we can just avoid the pleasantries, right? But I was reading, where I was showing him his little family picture book that he had. And he goes, Oma, Appa, which is mom and dad in Korean. He'll say Oma, Appa. And then the next page was me, but I wasn't fishing for him to say it. I flipped it to me, and he looked at me and goes, me. And then he got so excited, and then I just lost it. I just cried and laughed and screamed and jumped up and down, and it was the best. So Easton can now say Mimi, so my life is complete. I'm good to go now. So there you go. Anyway, the kids are just so adorable. Everything I see them going through, and I see, Elizabeth and Steele and Alyssa and Hong going through as parents, is just so reminiscent of what we went through. It's just fun to kind of see them play with those toys, and it's just absolutely a joy. So I'm beyond thrilled. But it was so cute because he went me, and his eyes were like, did I just say that? Like, that just came out of my mouth, right? And I got it right. It was the most amazing little interaction. And what was funny is I told Allie and Hong about it, and they have a little camera so that if they're like downstairs and he's playing, they can make sure he's safe. And I guess they were able to go back like, because it kind of records or whatever, and they were able to go back and they found that little clippet of me reading the book to him and him saying it, and me freaking out. So while it's not a real attractive video, it makes my heart super happy. So anyway, all right, let's go on to wishes. Okay, so Anthony and Ashley, we did not have them. I did not have them on coffee time last week. And I think I don't know why. Last week was a busy week, but Anthony and Ashley just closed on their beautiful new home by Pulte. Super, super, super excited for them. They are absolutely, I just adore them. They have been so fun. We've had lots of Zoom meetings and things like that. And I have to tell you, here's one of the things that is the most frustrating. The day that they closed, they were trying to move in. They were rushing, trying to get back to the house for the movers to get there. And I said, look, I'm gonna order you guys some pizza. What kind of pizza do you like? I'll order it. I'll try to get it to you. And then that way you'll at least have something to kind of snack on, because, you know, it's exhausting. You forget to eat. You forget to hydrate when you're in all that emotion. And I couldn't get the pizza delivered because it's such a new address. By the way, con for new construction can be a challenge in the beginning to get Uber Eats or DoorDash or even just pizza delivery to your actual house, because no one knows where it is yet. It may not be necessarily in public records. It may not be on their maps. Anyway, it was a hot mess, but eventually I just sent them a DoorDash gift card and they had got their own. Made me so sad. I wanted them to have pizza. And also Jared and Lydia, I love it. So Anthony and Ashley just completed the process, found the home, built the home, successfully closed on the home, and are now living in the home. And Jared and Lydia, we are just getting ready to start that process. I'm going to have my Zoom call with them this evening, and super excited to help them through the process. So hopefully we'll get to see their name up here again once they actually go under contract or close on their new home. So anyway, lots of fun there. I love it. It is just so much fun to be able to share information with people, and I don't know, just have them think about things that they didn't think about before, and have that positively affect their decision, especially when you're talking about so much money, right? All right, let's go to watching. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so I watched this. It's called Scarpetta. It's got Nicole Kidman. She is the medical examiner. And then you have Jamie Lee Curtis, who is her sister. And it is a really, really fun series. I kind of watched it pretty quickly. I can't remember how many episodes it was, but I know I've told you ad nauseum that every night when I go to bed, that's my tough time. So I stay awake for quite a while, and I may watch 2 or 3 episodes in an evening. So for me to get through 8 or 9 episodes doesn't take but a couple days, really. Late at night, that's when I'm watching it. But anyway, so I watched Scarpetta. Oh my gosh, I absolutely loved it. So if you have not watched this, if you've seen it kind of scrolling as a recommended, highly recommend. This is fun. Very excited. I think they have season 2 is going to come out. Really, really fun. Also, watched Virgin River. I think I mentioned that one last week. That season, gosh, what are we on now? 7? Whatever that season is. Been watching that one too. So lots of fun stuff to watch, but as always, open to your suggestions. But yeah, Scarpetta is a good one. Okay, and then I started watching, but it was a bit graphic for me. Oh, Scarpetta. Yeah, you know what? Because she's a medical examiner, yeah. And some of the things, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Watch, I guess, with caution if you don't like to see that type of thing. It's so funny how that does not excite me. I do not I get very upset when I see that, but I look away and I let it play. Whereas if there's sex scenes going on in other shows, I just forward. I'm like, I don't need to see that. I don't need to see that. And I'll zoom until that part's over. I know. I'm a weirdo. Anyway. All right. Jane says, love Virgin River. Yes, I know. Also, by the way, Sullivan's Crossing. If you like Virgin River, you'll like Sullivan's Crossing. And the new season of Sullivan's Crossing, I believe, starts the 22nd of this month. So, and Young Sherlock. Okay. That's good to know. That was one that I've considered. All right. Okay. I love it. And that was Pixel Pros. Nice. Excellent. Welcome. Some of you, I love it when people pop in and I haven't seen their little thingy pop up. I love you guys. Thank you. All right. We're going to get going here though, but let me see what I want to do. Oh, actually, you know what? I want to go back to Tracy. Tracy, what did you ask me, sweetheart? You asked me something about open house. I think she asked, was it Sydney or was it Tracy? They asked about if we should do open houses in the first 2 weeks of the home going on the market. I think open houses, I think it really depends. There is so much information that is available online that I don't think having an open house is going to actually sell the property. I think it's going to allow the opportunity for people without representation to come in and see the home. And in the world, the way things work, I wouldn't necessarily recommend going through a real estate transaction of that expense without an agent. So I prefer to have a buyer who's a real serious buyer who has gotten the pre-approval. You know that they're serious if they've gotten the pre-approval. Also, that means they're vetted so they could buy the house and they have a realtor there to represent them. Then people that are seeing your house actually could buy it. Open house could just be people taking a walk for the day. So I think open houses are not as important as they used to be before the days of social media and third-party websites and all of that aspects. All right, guys, I think I hear my dogs in there and they're going a little bit cuckoo. Plus, it's almost 10 after. So I have some other things I didn't get to, but I'll just get to them next week. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I don't know, I'm working on my topic for next week. So as always, if you have any questions, make sure you put them in here. I keep forgetting to ask you that in the very beginning. But you can also text me 407-848-8042 or Virginia 757-329-0055. You can text me if you've got questions. Text me if you've got some suggestions for some topics maybe that we haven't talked about that you would like for me to chat about. But I'm working on next week's. I don't know. It might be another full topic one. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. Anyway, I'll think about this week. Meanwhile, cheers to you, my sweet friends. Please stay safe. Stay well. Remember that I absolutely adore you. I love you guys. Have a great week. And happy St. Paddy's Day. I wore green for that. Forgot to mention. Anyway, cheers. Love you guys. Bye. See you next week.